Abudu the First from the Boli traditional area in Savannah. I'm sorry, I think I didn't do justice to your name. We have Mamaga Trawa the Fourth, Paramount Queen Mother from the Have traditional area. We have Tim Tony Na Hajia Sarutu. Saratu, I stand corrected. And she is from the Dagbon Kingdom. We have Nana Adia Ampedia II from the Bonri traditional area. We have Nana Jinchi Amwako Odikro, a Hantan traditional area in the Western region. We have Mama Atrato III, Queen Mother of Ho Dome, Asogli State. Okay. Hello? Okay. Hello? Hello? Okay, you can hear me. Great. Next, we have our panel conversation, and to nicely and ably take us through that would be my sister, Nong Falong.
Thank you so much, Amma. When I say women, I want to hear you say accelerate action. Women! Women! Accelerate action. Now you're going to say resetting the agenda. Women! Resetting the agenda. Some of you don't want to say the resets. We beg. Women! Resetting the agenda. Thank you so much, all of you. Her Excellency. We've waited so long to be able to say, Her Excellency. First of her kind, but hopefully not the last. If there are women in here, who will be the next? Let me hear you. Thank you. My name is Nuong Falong, and I'm going to lead you through the panel discussion. We have a few fantastic women who are going to come up here and help us dissect how we will reset the agenda to accelerate action for women's development. Before we get into that, we'll take a quick musical interlude, and we'll come right to it. I'll see you in a minute.
Baba, where are you? Oh, there you are. Yes. If you could just, give us a wave.
Hey, if you have forgotten already, how are we going to accelerate the action? Honorables, so many of them here, I can't mention them. I was going to say ladies and gentlemen, but on Women's Day, everyone is to call my panel members to please join us up here. Dr. Latifa Mohammed. Dr. Latifa Mohammed. Nana Jenchi Amwakun. Ahanta Traditional Area, Western Region. In Kiligi Wuriche, Boresa, Idisa, Jedua. Savannah Region, please. Fantastic. No, you can over there. That's fine. That's over there. Yes, please. Yes. Thank you. We have one more person. She's going to join us shortly. So I'll just go into the questions straight away, starting with Dr. Latifa, a lovely young woman, excellent young entrepreneur. There are so many young ladies sitting in the audience wondering how they can also become panel members on Women's Day, Woman Entrepreneur. What barriers have you recognized in your path?
Okay, thank you so much for the question. And I'm highly honored to be here on this panel at this auspicious program. Yes, my name is Dr. Latifa Mohammed, co-founder at Kodu Technology, and I also serve as the Quality Assurance Officer at Kodu Technology. And at Kodu Technology, we are into the manufacturing of safe, affordable, and eco-friendly sanitary pads to help tackle the issue of period poverty. And it is made from the fibers obtained from banana stems. Yes, there are challenges in the ecosystem, the business ecosystem as large. One of the challenge I would say everyone would agree on is the access to funding. Yes, so as a young entrepreneur like myself, starting a business usually requires a working capital. You get your capital expenditures noted down and also technical assistance. But I think we at Kodu Technology, we were a bit fortunate to have had our seed funding from great accelerator programs such as the Cosmos Innovation Center Agritech Challenge, the Circular Economy Competition, which is organized by the European Union in Ghana, as well as the UNICEF Startup Lab Accelerator. So usually the working capital is not something that we usually have access to. There is this barrier of getting the required amount that you need to set up a business. And also to scale, one, there is an increase in demand of products and services. It is required by you, the company, to produce more products and goods to satisfy the needs of your customers. But once there is this gap in funding to help you scale your production and also your team development, it creates this gap there which doesn't allow the company to realize their full potential of becoming a successful business. So I would say that lack to access funding or lack to And I would also say that there are many funding opportunities around, just that they usually come with high interest rates and also high collateral requirements, which is very difficult for a young startup like mine to provide to get these access. Another challenge is with the regulatory hurdles. Usually it's very expensive to get your certification. So I would say that that's another challenge that poses for us as young entrepreneurs like myself. Another challenge is the stigma which is attached to female-led businesses. Usually it's said that, oh, this one, the madam is the boss, she's bossy, she doesn't like people. Like a lot of assumptions around female-led businesses. So these are some of the barriers I would say that we face as young women entrepreneurs.
Thank you, Latifa. When you were talking about the stigma, I saw Honorable Joanna laughing. She knows a lot about that. I'll come back to interrogate that submission shortly. But we have another panelist joining us, Madam Peggy Ama Donko. She's the GTV channel manager. Thank you so much. Ladies, a round of applause. Thank you so much, Madam Peggy. I'll just come back to Latifa. You mentioned the access to financing as a barrier, but you also mentioned that you got lucky and you were financed by institutions such as Cosmos. How do we position ourselves to be financed by such institutions?
So with that, they run accelerator programs to support young entrepreneurs like myself. So to better position ourselves, I would like to recommend introduction of more accelerator programs, which will help take in more female young entrepreneurs and also assist them with their working capital and also their technical assistance in order to start and also grow their businesses from ideas to bringing it to life, like ideas to life, yes.
How do we find these accelerator programs and apply?
Okay, so usually the opportunities are found on their websites. So you could just go onto their website and then look out for announcements for such accelerator programs. Usually to their shared amounts platforms where school children and also youth like myself, like a platform for us. Usually they are shared there too, yes.
Thank you, Latifa. I'll come to you shortly. I just want to go to Madam Peggy. You're a channel manager of GTV. That's not a small job. You get to, is it a small job? It's a big job. And from your position, you are probably able to influence your newsroom policy and some of the stories that go on air. But before you got to that chair, what did you have to overcome to get there?
Thank you. It's been 27 years now, but like you said, it's not been easy. First, I'm a woman. Second, I have a special need. So that feeds into even getting there. I remember in 1999, at my interview, one panel member said, "This work is for able people. Do you think you can do it?" Then I said, "Say, give me the opportunity. If I'm not able to do it, then you can show me the exit." And I can say confidently that GBC has not regretted employing me. The challenges start with the mindset of the people you are going to work with and your colleagues. And then the environment. architectural barriers. I remember also that in 2005, when I won the Journalist of the Year, there was a reporter from the BBC who came to do a story on me. The first question he asked was, how are you able to maneuver around? It took him to talk to the then director of television to create a ramp. Unfortunately, it looks like those who even created the ramp just did something for something's sake. They don't understand what that means. And I have not used that ramp. And I don't use it. I would try to use the staircase. Yes. It's not been easy, very, very difficult. So what I've done is, or I've told myself is, I'd rather do stories that would not send me to places where we have long staircases. So I'm a rural reporter. I've done all 16 regions in Ghana, and I'm not sure some of my colleagues have done that. Today, I can confidently say that I know all the regions in Ghana, and my stories are normally about women and children, the vulnerable. I am the voice of the voiceless. And when it comes to education, or when I tried furthering my education, getting scholarship was an issue. It took then President Kufuor at the award ceremony to instruct someone to help. So why am I saying this? I'm saying this because these are some of the challenges persons with special needs encounter. An able person goes and gets sponsorship. Meanwhile, the person who rather needs, in quotes, would not. So, but for the fact that I had that opportunity, I'm not sure I'll be a channel manager by now. So it boils down to the intentionality of it. As the VIP said, we've done the talking over and over again. Now it's time for action. The most painful thing is that those you think should know better, the educated ones, which should know that you should be helped, are those who frustrate you. Because in our mind, based on traditional beliefs, to use an Akan or an Ashanti word, like we say, bafine, which means a half human being. So if you don't have a leader who understands your situation and thinks that you should be given the opportunity, it becomes a challenge. So the intentionality of all of us will help women and children with disabilities to rise to the occasion. When it comes to decision making, because I am part of management, I have over the years chipped in programs here and there to help. Sometimes reporters are not comfortable covering stories involving persons with disabilities or persons with special needs. But because I am there, I take it upon myself. So the journey has not been easy. If persons with special needs will not give up, then I know they can sail through like I have done. Thank you.
Thank you, Peggy. Before I let you off, I just wanted you to speak to cultural barriers. You've mentioned some social issues at the workplace, the kind of perceptions people have. What cultural issues have you encountered covering 16 regions, especially towards persons with disabilities?
Thank you. Personally, culturally, I've not encountered anything. I think that once you go out to the regions and they know you are from GBC, then it gives you a leeway. But I will plead with our traditional authorities to organize or create the awareness. Disability can be anybody's lot at any time. I will use a classical, two examples. The former chairman of the Church of Pentecost, Apostle Intumi, we all know him. After his chairmanship, he went for a surgery and then he was confined in a wheelchair for 15 years before he passed. President Kufuor is now in a wheelchair. Disability can be anybody's slot at any time. So if we are able to create the awareness by organizing debates and educating people about issues or challenges of persons with disability, I am sure that all of us will get to understand. Education and awareness creation is what we need as a people. And again, the mindset. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Peggy. Nana Jenchi, I'm just going to come to you to add to what she has begun about traditional leaders contributing to the advancement. How can traditional institutions ensure that life is easier for a woman, life is easier for women with disabilities?
Hello, good afternoon. I'll answer your question. Permit me and just indulge me to use 2 minutes to give some narrative. Something happened on 6th of March this year. After the March passed, we all went, celebrated, and we went to sleep. 2 days, we are gathered here. But something happened which has brought hope across the country. You've not taken notice of that. I have. And that is coming from the person of His Excellency, the Vice President. I will explain. She has received a lot of applause, and I'm going to add more this time around. So, her person, her modesty, is a symbol of empowerment of women across the country. Her simplicity is also an empowerment, or is a symbol of empowerment of all women and girls across the country. And not last but not the least, her prudence, management of resources. And I'm coming to, and I think by now you know where I'm getting to. For the first time in this country, celebration of 6 March, and for the first time in this country, having a vice president as a woman, we are able to make savings. In fact, we didn't even know how much it costs. We didn't know. You know, when we were boys, Accra Academy, we go and march. At the end of the day, we give ice cream, we go. And I have witnessed about 50 march passes. We didn't know how much it cost the nation, not knowing every time we go and gather at the Independence Square or elsewhere, we are paying dearly for it. But for the first time, we have seen and known that as a woman vice president, and by prudence management of their resources, we have been able to cut back the spend by 95%. Madam, Your Excellency, well done. And at this time, I will just rise, and please help me to rise and then give her the last applause she needs. Thank you.
The applause is not loud enough.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. This act has brought hope to the youth out there and women in Ghana and even Africa. Thank you very much. God bless you. I thank you for. So, to your question, and before I answer that again, let me make some fundamental you know, basic fundamental thing before I, yes. When we talk about women empowerment, it is felt in the city, so the urban, cosmopolitan areas. That's why you see women empowerment, career women, you know, driving cars and managers and so on and so on. If you come to the rural areas, it is not visible enough. That empowerment regime is not visible enough. Government is doing more. We traditional rulers, we are working in partnership with the civil society organizations, advocacy group. We are doing very well, but more has to be done. I will touch on sexual violence and ownership rights of women. I'll give examples to illustrate what I'm saying. Once upon a time, this man and woman, wife, in the night, you know, we're having an adult conversation, right? The woman decided to block the road, that he wouldn't let the husband pass. So anger and the whole thing fled into fighting and, you know, neighbors. And then the man, you know, just beat the wife up just because of, you know, not allowing him to have his passage. So in the morning, the woman just rushed to the police station and reported the matter to the police. The man was arrested, detained. And around 9 a.m., I saw this one with the mother and other two, you know, natives of the village. They came to me. Nana, look at what my daughter has done. He has had some quarrel with the husband, and she has gone to report the husband to the police. As the man is in jail, who is going to take care of the children? You can see the woman, she's beaten, swollen and so on. I decided to let the police punish this man. But on the other side, if you allow the man to go through the prosecution process, and he'll go to jail, and we'll come back to who will take care of the children, who will take care of the home. So what I'm saying is that sometimes with the empowerment, it is not legislative to bring the change. It is about education, dialogue, understanding. What I did was that I asked that the man be bailed. He was bailed, he was brought to the palace. We had a discussion. The woman was there, the wife was there. We amicably settled the matter. And gracefully, in some months' time, I could see the woman was pregnant. So no problem again, isn't it? So it is not only always legislative to correct something for women to be empowered. It is through education. And that education should be very vigorous and should be, you know, just be hit hard on the rural areas for the change and empowerment of women to come. Ownership rights of women. There's an adage that, and I'm going to speak in Fanti. I say, "Besiato etura otrunbeini dem." To wait, when a woman buys a rifle, she keeps it in the room of the man. Mm-hmm. She having her money, going to buy the rifle, she has no right to keep it in her room. But you got to keep it in the room of the man. What it means is that the right of the man to own property always runs superior to that of the woman. So you can see, when women want, maybe they want some property, land, to farm or something, hardly would they come alone. They will come with a man. If not the husband, maybe an elder man of the. But on the other hand, men will come and ask for land without accompaniment of a woman. So you see the disparity. So these are some of the things that but on our own, we think that it is not always legislation. Let's make the education the focal point, and then we educate the rural folk. And then I think with time, we're able to come over and then our rural women will be highly empowered.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you, Nana Jenchi. Thank you so much. I'll just move to Honorable Joanna Jan. We have a woman vice president. You are a member of parliament, but we still have women underrepresented in politics. How can we ensure that we have more women bold enough to stand up and involve themselves in politics?
Thank you. First of all, I want to say thank you to the organizers of the program, and also Happy Women's Day to our president, vice president, and then my colleagues, MPs, and senior council of state, and then also the minister of state. My name is Joanna Jan Kujo. I'm MP for Amenfi Central. I still believe that women has been always misrepresented, because if you look at the leadership role in terms of business and politics, we don't have much women there. And then always you see in terms of business, you've always seen the men always leading in terms of the CEO position, managing director, head of operations, and things like that. And these are the people who are top executives in the business. So when women are not part of the decision making, when women are not involved in many things you do, it's very difficult for them to give them their 100% in everything you do. So in terms of leadership, I believe that it will be very great to empower women to take a leadership role in terms of politics and the business. For instance, when we come to Parliament today, now we have about 40 women members of Parliament, which is a very good thing, and I'm happy our Vice President is a woman. And I'm sure some of the women out there are happy because they believe that having a first female Vice President has also empowered and encouraged some of the women. If you look at my case, for instance, when I was going for my primaries, since 92, this is the first time a woman standing an MP in Amenfi Central. So when I posted my flyer on social media, and then everyone was calling, "Are you sure you can do it? I don't think you can do this. They're going to bully you. Stop, don't go." I said, "I'm going." So I believe that the courage that I have, it didn't come from me alone, but because I also saw other women in Parliament, and I said, if they can do it, why can't I do the same? So in politics, in Parliament now, you see a lot of women are coming, even though we have 14 now compared to the previous 8th Parliament and compared to 9th Parliament. Now we are coming, but not too much. So I believe that if we can, political parties will be able to encourage the women to give them a role where they can actually become a member of Parliament in a particular constituency. They think that they can win and invest in them. It will be very great.
Thank you, thank you. The first woman MP from your constituency. Wow. Please give her another round of applause for that. And what's going to happen now, after you, the other women in your constituency will realize that they can also do it. And they will also be encouraged to do it. But after you become a member of Parliament, how do we give platforms for members of Parliament to be able to advance themselves?
I think if we're able to allow them to invest themselves or invest in the women, especially giving a lot of education and trainings, because mostly you see women gathering somewhere, you go to a salon to have a chat, and we are talking about how you can do shopping, we can do this, but because there's no one really bringing them together and say, hey, you can actually do this. Can you see our first female vice president? You know that she's able to do it. When we have a training places where we can have a seminars to be able to educate people, to let them understand, because people need to have mentorship to be able to understand, even realize their dream, to know who they are and where they are coming from and what they stand for. So I think you should do more advocating for making sure promoting women where women know that they can also do it. In terms of education, there's a lot, even though a lot of people are now having their career trying to do a lot of things, but I feel that if you're able to give them scholarships and giving them opportunity to study abroad and come back to their country to, do a lot of things together. So there's so much we can do to be able to help the women understanding that you should do it, but not by bullying us and making us feel like you're a woman, so you can't be a decision maker. If we're able to involve ourselves in terms of even drafting the policies in the politics and other things in other areas, right, then they know that we'll be able to do this. So that is why I feel that the training and other things will be able to help.
Thank you, Honorable Joanna, Jan. We'll just move on to Nklije Wurche. As a queen, when you look at our Ghanaian societies, how do we make queen mothers more visible and position them as agents of change within their communities?
Thank you very much. I am so honored to be here. Before I speak, kindly permit me pay homage to my king, the king of the Yagungunja Kingdom, the Savannah region, Jira Yagunwura Bi Kunuto Jehu Soli so may they say. I am very happy to be here once again. And this room is filled with a lot of my mentors. To have my mentor, Mama Jifa Gomasho, listen to me speak, to have Hajazua look at me, Madam Joyce Bauer just stepped out. I think I feel so honored to be here. Queen mothers have played very critical roles in terms of development, even in time past. It was after the colonial masters came in that they began to deal with the kings or the chiefs that made the queen mother's rule a bit setback. But yes, all in all, queen mothers have done amazing jobs across Ghana. And all the queen mothers, they were carefully selected because they are championing a lot of advocacy issues in their communities, from teenage pregnancies to child marriages to witchcraft accusations. What have you? They've done a lot in that regard. I think that for queen mothers to be able to do more, I think queen mothers epitomize femininity. They epitomize our culture. They epitomize knowledge and wisdom. But they have been limited recognition and legitimacy. And that is what is leading to our being or feeling excluded. Could we have discussions around documenting queen mother stories? We grew up to hear about Yas and Toa and what she did for the Ashanti Kingdom. In our present day Ghana, there are queen mothers who are doing amazing and fantastic. There is one with us here, Nana Ochidom Amacheshwa, who is an ADR expert. She's adjudicating a lot of cases, from marriage cases to divorce cases, here in Accra and Tema, and she's doing amazing. Somebody like Kansa Uche, a female queen mother who owns the first female hospital or clinic in Savannah region, where she's handling issues of child mortality and mother mortality. So if you can have platforms to document success stories of queen mothers across board, that would serve as enough motivation to other queen mothers to emulate, and also to the girl child who look up onto us as custodians of our culture.
Thank you so much, Queen Boressa. I would love to do another round of questions, but we are so pressed for time that I'll throw two questions to the audience, and then I'll take a few questions from them that you can speak to. Do we have Madame Efuagate, President of the Ghana Bar Association? Is she in here? Thank you. Thank you so much. Please give her a round of applause to a woman who is a change agent in her area of expertise. Madam Gate, listening to all the submissions they've made, from a legal perspective, how can the law help women to improve their lot?
Thank you very much for the question. Madam Vice President, if I may speak. The law, which is the Affirmative Action Gender Equity Act, 1121, that is the number, is a 2024 act which was passed in July and assented to in September. Now, that act has very copious provisions which are helpful to the cause that we are fighting now. That act ensures that in all spheres, economic, social, political, and our educational area, there are carefully crafted strategies that ought to be implemented. Now, it starts with ensuring that the Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection sets up a committee, a 13-member committee, which is supposed to roll out some of these strategies. What I like is that the Act touches on public service, it touches on the judiciary, it touches on security services, it touches on various areas, including even the private sector. And that act also has sanctions, which is interesting, so that assuming that you do not ensure that you live by the dictates of the act, there are sanctions there. And then we move to the schedule of the act, which ensures that it's given you guidelines which ought to be followed. And these guidelines, some of the things that we are talking about, for instance, education, we are talking about scholarships. Now it is in the act. Politics, we are talking about numbers. Now it is in the act. Health issues, which were touched on by the Vice President, is in the act. So if we all resolve that we would ensure that the act actually is actualized, then I believe that we are going to see a different Ghana. It's true that we have in various ways attained gender parity because there have been some laws which have guided us. But now we have one which encompasses all the efforts that have been made in the past. And what I like about the law is that it gives you a timetable to see how gender parity will be actualized. So in a certain number of years, we are supposed to get to 30%, we are supposed to get to 35%, and ultimately 50%. Then we know that we have legislation that is enabling. So I trust that the minister in charge would activate all the things in the act, including the regulations, and then we'll be in a good space. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Please don't sit down yet. Thankfully, the Honorable Minister is right here of gender. I have a question that I would just like to ask you. Someone sent me a question saying, how do women without money in their pockets access legal help when they have problems? Yes, please.
Sorry.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Madam
So
Efua, yes.
we have the Legal Aid Board, which has been established. It's been there for quite a number of years. And the Legal Aid Board will assist you to be able to handle your legal matters free of charge. We have institutions like FIDA Ghana, which also helps the vulnerable women and children. And sometimes we have the men also walking in. So there's another thing. And with the Ghana Bar Association, as part of our objectives, we are rolling out legal aid clinics and seminars. It hasn't reached the recognition that we want it to reach, but a lot of lawyers grant pro bono services for now. we are giving it the necessary structure. So definitely if you have issues and you require funding, there are some bodies that you can approach. And I would suggest forcefully the Ghana Legal Aid Board.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Madam Ifuagati, the Ghana Legal Aid Board. You heard her. Approach them and they'll see how best they can help you. I have a question for Madam Pelopoku. Are you here from the World Bank? Oh, fantastic. The question here I have is how steps can be taken to improve inclusion in development projects from the World Bank, projects from other development partners. How do we ensure inclusion of women specifically?
Thank you so much. Good afternoon and happy Women's Day to everyone here. I think from the perspective of the World Bank, we look at inclusion on two fronts. One is as a development issue, and one is as a safeguards issue. From the development front, we look at, we recognize gender equality and inclusion as very critical in ensuring sustainable development. And so in all our projects, we make sure that we conduct environmental and social safeguards analysis to identify the risks, gender risks and opportunities, so that we can take targeted actions in the course of implementation of our projects, so that women are not worse off as a result of the projects that we are implementing. As a social safeguards issue, we also, in the same vein, make sure that as a result of the project that we are implementing, women are empowered or protected. For instance, in the construction of a road project, for instance, because of the analysis or the gender analysis we may have conducted, we can take targeted actions to ensure that women are not worse off as a result of the project that we are implementing. I think that broadly, as development partners, different stakeholders within the development space, we need to be intentional about ensuring inclusion. And I'll take this from the policy process. So right from policy formulation, I think that a lot of research can identify the needs of women and people in vulnerable situations, so that it would inform the interventions that are implemented in the course of policy formulation. And throughout the course of policy implementation, I think that we need to set targets or indicators that we are monitoring throughout the life cycle of the project, so that we ensure that women, the needs of the vulnerable, needs of persons with disabilities are factored and are addressed as a result of the projects that we are implementing. So broadly, that's what I can say.
Thank you so much, Madam Pelo Poku from the World Bank. Please give her a round of applause. Women. Women. What's the second one? Women. I didn't hear the reset. Women. Thank you, thank you. I'm going to take 3 questions from the audience, please. Yes, 3 questions. If any of you has a question, this is the time. Ashes, if you can please come forward with the mic. Yes, please. Thank you. Just your name and your question, please.
Good evening. My name is Ambassador Dr. Erica Bennett. My question is for Peggy. You do not just lobby for those who have physical challenges. I've been in this country 25 years, and you really helped me as a diaspora woman to adjust to being here. So I'd like all of us to give her a big round of applause.
Impact. You're having impact.
Impact. That's what you have done. And one of the things that I'm really going to say very quickly is that the diaspora woman, we want to be here in Ghana. And it's very important that we indulge, really help us to adjust. You know, Vice President, I have to say this to you. What Nana said is absolutely you. You were humble, you were kind. When we brought 18 female ambassadors to see you with that spirit, all of us want to support what you're doing. Those ministers who have arrogance and that kind of thing, people don't want to deal with them. I just have to say that. So I say to you, please continue to be that example. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Another round of applause for Madam Peggy. Thank you for the impact you're having without knowing it. We'll take another question, please. There's a gentleman. If I ignore you, you say because you're a man. So please take the mic to him. There's a gentleman in the back. I'll come to you short. Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay. I am from the diaspora as well. And we have queen mothers in my country. We have
What country, please?
Suriname, South America. We speak Dutch. And we have 7 African-based languages. So Maroon communities. And we still kept to the rules of chieftaincy. So, like, I'm a daughter of a chief, and I'm Maroon. The same challenges that the queen mothers have, I see them happening with, we don't call them queen mothers, we call them female captains. And I come from a rural community, a village. The challenge is that the queen mentions, we have them too. What do you think of reaching out to these women that are crying? They are mothers, they are leaders, and the challenges of being a woman in leadership is not easy. How does Africa want to reach out to this unknown country, to Africa? Because what we do, we still keep the names of Africa. I think I come from Tumu. That is my grandmother's name, you know, in the north. And Tamale is one of our villages. And Ansu is my paternal clan. And Ewe is my mom's name, Majo. Do you reach out to us? Let us learn from what the ancestors left us in leadership and for women empowerment. Do you reach out to us?
Thank you. Thank you. I'll just, since it's, yes, I'll throw that to Queen Wood.
Thank you very much. I was privileged to attend the African Traditional Leaders Summit at the AU and at this sometime 2 months ago. And the discussions were focused on how we can have our diasporians who want to trace their roots back to Africa. How do we reunite with them because they feel and believe they have roots in Africa. It's interesting to learn that Suriname has roots in Africa and Tumu in the Upper West region, it's something in Suriname. So we are open to build partnerships and welcome all diasporans across the globe who are willing to come back to Ghana or Africa. Our arms are open to receive you. We call you our daughters, we call you our sons. You are welcome back home. And I think from the point, from the side of the government has done a lot in that regard with the issue of having policies where we can have them have citizenship when they get to Ghana. There were a few who have been in Ghana past couple of weeks, and they've gotten their citizenships as Ghanaians. So at the traditional level, we are ready and willing to welcome you and integrate you into our communities. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So thank you very much. My name is Dr. Joseph Kobla Wemako. I am the founder and executive director of Human Rights Reporters Ghana. And I also convene the CSO's platform on SDGs, the USA platform. It's an honor and pleasure to be here this afternoon to witness this August gathering and to celebrate our women. Myself, I'm a strong advocate for women's rights. And
you have women among your reporters?
Yes, sure. So we know that Ghanaian women have been under the weather for quite so long. They have suffered for so long, we all know. This particular gathering speaks to that a lot. So I just want to find out, what is that strong message that we have for us today as far as the International Women's Day is concerned? Give us that strong word of encouragement that gives hope to all our women, each and every one of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joseph. Thank you so much. Is there any other question? He wants a strong message. I'll take one more question. That would be the last, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Madam Vice President. It is a privilege and an honor to raise this issue. Actually, I have a concern, and I'm assembly member from Sanargo Municipal Assembly, and I'm the only woman who is elected in the assembly among 23 members. And I would like to draw the attention of our Vice President, if we are talking of women empowerment, if we are talking of women being part of decision making, then we should start looking at the local level, what we can do so that more women would like to take up positions, especially at the local level, to improve governance in Ghana so that Mother Ghana will be better for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I'll just come back to our panel and I'll ask Honorable Joanna to give us a strong message as Joseph requested.
Thank you. So as women today, believe that not only women here, but also women in Ghana, Africa, and the world at large. I always believe that as a woman, whatever you set up to do, you have to believe yourself. You need to understand that you can do it, because what men can do, women can do better. And if you look at what our king said here today, that...
Is there anyone who disagrees with that? Hey. Is there, if you disagree with what she said, let me see by hand. Oh, you're afraid? Okay, let's continue.
You know, there's so much that you can actually do with. I mean, you can become an owner of a bank, a CEO of a World Bank. You can become a president of Ghana one day. You can become whatever you believe in. I mean, there's a lot of members of parliament here, and there's a lot of women who believe that can also go to parliament. Don't feel shy. I want you to know that if you are sitting here today and you want to become a member of parliament, you want to be a politician, you want to pray or become a CEO of a certain company, you need to get up and do it. You need to see that you can do that thing for yourself, for your family, for your loved one, for the people who believes in you, because some of us out here, we are there for our family and friends, and people look up to us. And if you decided to sleep in your room and you don't do anything for yourself, you're actually telling the world that they should also go and sleep, because the world is now for the women. And I know that together you can succeed to be able to do a good thing for ourselves. So please, I want you to know that for today being a Women's Day, whatever dream that you have it in your diary that you never visited, go back and pick your book and then visit them and start working on it. And this will come to reality. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Joanna. I like the point where she said, whatever you've written down in your diary, a lot of us keep diaries year after year. You write down your goals, and at the end of the year, you've probably not even ticked 2 of them. Then you shelve it, and you have new goals for the next year. Please, go back, pick that old diary, and push forward to achieve that dream. There is no excuse. We have too many examples to even think about failing. There are so many honorable members of parliament here. So the ceiling has already been broken. You can do it. we have first of her kind. Her Excellency. Don't forget she used to be honorable. Her Excellency, Professor. Hey, it's not one thing. It's not two. She's broken several ceilings. Jane Nana Opoku Ajiman. Please. Because of her, we've passed the stage where you wake up and say, I want to be the Vice President of Ghana. And she has already ticked that box. So because of her, you will sit down and say, I want to be the President of Ghana. Maybe in a few years, we'll have someone from this room becoming that. Thank you. How do we ensure that we've spoken about politics, we've spoken about chieftaincy, media. How can we ensure that we achieve the goals that we have outlined? I personally want to take you through a few affirmations. And I would like you to rise up for that, please. And you all say with me, even the gentlemen. I am strong, capable, and resilient. My voice matters and I will use it. I deserve respect and equality. I am proud of my achievements. I am a force for positive change. And the last but best, I will support other women. I will support other women. Thank you. Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you to my panel members. Thank you so much for coming up here, for inspiring, for speaking to the issues, and for encouraging. There are so many people here who have listened to you today and have resolved to do better for themselves and have been filled with so many ideas on the way forward. So thank you so much. Honorable Joanna. Yes, Nana Genchi, yes. You wanted to give.
Yes, we seem to lose sight of another very important issue, economic empowerment. And this in respect to the rural woman.
Okay.
In the past, we know of the 31st December women's movement. Like it or take it, they really impacted the life of the rural woman. Today we are here, and I'm coming back to Her Excellency again. The Women's Development Bank. Your Excellency, please, the women are waiting for your program to be rolled out. They need the money to work. So please, hasten the process so that the money will come to them and empower them economically. Thank you.
Thank you, Nana Genchi, thank you, Honorable Joanna Jan, Dr. Latifatu Mohammed, thank you so much for your insights, and Madam Peggy Ama Donko, thank you so much, thank you. Now, how do we sustain the momentum of all the things that we have spoken about? How do we sustain the momentum? I'm going to call on Dr. Mariam Rahinatu Idrisu to tell us how to sustain the momentum. Please welcome her with a round of applause. I also like to acknowledge the presence of a captain of industry who just joined us. I remember in someone's submission, she mentioned captains of industry. That is Madame Kate Kote Papafio. Please give us a wave. Madame Ruth Sedo also just joined us. She's Deputy Director for the NSS. Please give us a wave if you... Thank you, thank you. And to my panelists, please, you can take your seats. Before Dr. Mariam joins us, I'll just hand over to my colleague, Amma Pratt. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nwang. Please, let's clap for Nwang Falong. We've had a really good time this evening, haven't we? Have we? Feedback is always very important, and that's where we are at right now. We would humbly request 4 people to help us do the reflections and the commitments, more like the next steps, so to speak. Please, for all of you that I'll be calling to come forward, I beg of you, 1 minute each. Time is fast spent, and so we would want to do this as quickly as possible. So first, I'd like to call on Madame Thelma Achre-Hayford. She's our rep from Oxfam. As she's coming up, I would ask Madame Faustina Boache, Women in Wash, to be ready on standby, so we can do this pretty quickly. Madame, please come up. Let me also put Mr. Enoch Oti Ajekum, economist from World Bank, on notice. Please come closer. And then, of course, Madame Genevieve Partington from Amnesty International. Please come closer, too. So 1 minute each. Madame, please this way. Please let's welcome her with a clap, friend. Yeah.
Her Excellency, Professor Nana Jane Opokwajiman, all protocol duly observed. A lot has been said, and for us as Oxfam in Ghana, we continue to roll out programs considering the social inclusion of persons who are most vulnerable in our communities as the most key thing in our way of working. Being in existence in Ghana for the past 30 years, we have indeed worked with our national partners, our national allies, and coalitions to advance the cause of women, girls, and persons with disabilities in the country. I speak for myself and say that I am very moved, very emotional today because this is a dream. And I take inspiration from a picture that is trending in Ghana today, a photo of Her Excellency embracing a young girl and painting a picture of how our tomorrow is possible. Ladies and gentlemen, Oxfam in Ghana is committed to being the foot soldiers of development to advance the cause of women and girls, to truly transform our society to be one that is enviable in the years to come. Together with our Minister for Gender and partners in this room, we would work on implementing the affirmative action as a need and not a want. This dream has been long coming, and we are not going to sit back and watch this act sit on the shelf and gather dust. Implement the affirmative action now. It's not just a hashtag. It is work we must all get on board to see come into life. Thank you all once again.
Thank you. Your Excellency, all protocols duly observed. I stand here on behalf of the women in water, sanitation, and hygiene. We are a network of professional women that comes together to share and learn from one another, and also mentor young girls to join the water and sanitation sector. And today, I stand here to reaffirm our unwavering commitment to advance the role of women in water and sanitation. Water is life, and water is at the heart of women's issues. But too often, women are excluded from the decisions that shape the access, the sustainability, and management of resources. And as we have heard today, this must change. We are resetting the agenda. We are accelerating action. So I stand here to affirm our commitment to champion gender-responsive policies in the water and sanitation sector and ensure that women take their rightful place at the table. I also affirm our commitment to also strengthen mentorship and capacity building initiatives that empower women to take up leadership positions and thrive in the sector. And of course, to collaborate with all stakeholders to break systemic barriers, workplace biases, and cultural norms that hinder the advancement of women. So thank you very much. This is our commitment.
Thank you, and good afternoon to everyone. Congratulations to Her Excellency, the Vice President. There are a lot of beautiful, gorgeous men and women here today. And I see two opportunities for us to make some change. Number one, because we have a female Vice President for the first time. And number two, because of the economic environment in which we find ourselves. Within the austere economic environment, there is a need we should take advantage of within the next couple of years. How can we proceed? We need to start looking at all sectors, the issue of gender and ministries, agriculture, particularly the built environment. As a woman who understands the situation, she can really leverage the power that she has to really, really move things forward in the next couple of years that we will have her as the Vice President. And we really count on you, ma'am, as a mother figure, to really take us a very fast step than what we've achieved over the past years. At the development partner front, of course, we work with our ministries and agencies, but we have to be able to also leverage the expertise and experience of civil society and our traditional authority who really, really know the situation better than we do, and really make sure that we get them to solve some of the teething problems that we have at the community levels. My colleague from the World Bank mentioned about measurement. We cannot achieve what we cannot measure. This is the time to really think about how to measure gender, children, and vulnerability mainstreaming in our ministries. Can we set a team to really come up with some set of indicators and set these ministries to achieve and make sure that we monitor them in the course of implementation? In the World Bank, what we usually do is that every project should have some indicators to measure this, and we monitor. And what is important is that the level of gender in your program could even help you get more money. So we look at things like gender, environment, climate change. So can we also do something similar in this country? Because we're in special times, can Cabinet look at some of these issues, or the Ministry of Finance look at these issues when the ministries are coming up with their programs? Can we look in the programs and see which of the ministries are mainstreaming gender in their programs and at least reward them with some additional budget? Can we do this? I think that these are some practical steps that we can take to advance the cause of gender. As Her Excellency the Vice President said, we need to be meeting more and we have to be talking more. Thank you, and see you some other time.
Hello, good evening, Your Excellency,
dear Queen Mothers, and all protocol observed. My name is Genevieve Partington, and I have mixed feelings because I am the first woman country director for Amnesty International Ghana. Happy, but the mixed feeling is Amnesty International Ghana has been in this country for 50 plus years. Yes. So it's just to say that just as Your Excellency is the first Vice President, I'm the first woman, we don't want to end it here. First is not an achievement for us. We need to do more. And at Amnesty International Ghana, we're already working with Ministry of Gender and other stakeholders to ensure that we put in place policy reform, just like the Affirmative Action Bill, reviewing of the Domestic Violence Act, because there's so much in there that has loopholes. And we're just going to do so much. So all I have to say is that we're here, we're committed, and we're ready to support any way we can to ensure that all women and girls, our rights are respected, but also that we make sure we achieve our goals to the highest level. Not deputy ministers, ministers. Not vice president, president. Not deputy chair of a board, but the board chair. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Genevieve Partington. So, I have to do this really, really quickly. Normally we say we save the best for last. Here in this room are also colleagues of mine. I'd like to quickly acknowledge them. Do we have Mrs. Alberta Graham? Do we have Mrs. Alberta Graham here? Yes, she's the administrator, head of administration, Office of the Vice President. Please clap for my colleague. Do we have Professor Theresa Enning here? I see you eyeing me. Take a bow. That would be our presidential staffer and special aide to the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. Please clap for them. Clap, clap, clap. Right. Let me quickly introduce Professor Sharif Mahmood Khalid. I saw you here, policy advisor. Take a bow. Also in our midst is Ms. Mansa Amwa Ewa, policy advisor on finance, my colleague. Of course, Doc would come up in a minute, so I'm going to, leave her out. But where is our chief of staff, the Honorable Alex Segbifia? Where is? Oh, there he is. Right, and all my other colleagues from the Office of the Vice President, please, let's take a wave. Let's take a wave, all of us. I see you. I see. Please, clap. Oh, I see Papa. Papa, take a wave. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you. At this point, we have some presentations from MTN. So I would call Madame Angela Mensah Poku. She's Chief Business Officer, MTN. She has presents for every one of our panelists. So all of our panelists, could you please come back up on stage? Let's do this quickly, quickly, quickly. Quickly, our panelists, please come up, all 6 of us. Quickly, please. I'm sorry to rush you, but quickly. Thank you. Okay. Doc, are you ready? Okay. So now, please, let's welcome the lady who initiated all of this as she gives us her closing remarks.
Her Excellency, the very first Vice President of Ghana, ministers present, ambassadors present, beautiful Queen mothers and traditional leaders present, all protocols observed. This has been very interesting, and I think that we need to give ourselves one more round of applause. Yes, so this conversation situates very well with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's belief in the power of consultation. And it marks the beginning of resetting the women's agenda. We are not ending it now. Hopefully, we are going to follow through in other sectors to have this conversation. So following the International Women's Day Women's Dialogue, we are committed to driving meaningful actions to advance women's rights, equity, and empowerment. And I'm glad the World Bank, Amnesty International, Oxfam have given very insightful recommendation, and hopefully they'll back it with financing. So this is just a quick summary of the discussions that took place. Unanimously, they all talked about business financing and incubation for youth-focused and women-led businesses. And I'm not the right person to say this, but hopefully the Women's Bank would soon be launched. Then the concern of mobility, cultural and occupational related challenges of persons with disability. I think that this area is quite insightful for a lot of us who took some of these barriers and challenges that women with disability are confronted with. Then the issue of women in decision-making platform across members of parliament, district assembly, and there was somebody from the local assembly. I think that this is an area that has come up, and hopefully we would look at it. Commitments have been made, and like I said, we'll follow through with these commitments and ensure that you just do not make the commitment, you finance the commitment as well. Then implementation of the affirmative action is ongoing. We are not relenting. This conversation has just started, and we are going to have more of these conversations. So now, some of these barriers have been discussed. I think that we should move on to the next slide. So we'll continue to have this conversation at the regional, district level, and across sectors. We are aware of these barriers and challenges across the health sector, business setting, agric, and all of that. We would narrow down this conversation. And hopefully, UNICEF whispered to me that they would finance a national dialogue where we would have all of these things discussed and frameworks developed. Thank you. So in conclusion, this is the takeaway. I think that a lot of people have given some interpretation of this picture, but I'm also looking at it from the gender lens. Yes. So this is the eagle that is credited as being powerful, but the only bird that dares the eagle is the raven. And what does the raven do? The raven's purpose is to distract the eagle by pecking it and try to prevent it from soaring high. However, the raven lacks the ability to fly as high as the eagle. What does the eagle do? It just ignores the raven and keeps soaring high and high because it knows that at a particular altitude, the raven would definitely fall off because it hasn't got what it takes to soar high. So like the eagle, all I want to say is that Let's remember our vision, strength, and courage, and stay focused on our path. On this note, I wish all of us a happy International Women's Day. Let's continue to soar high. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Doc. Let's quickly call one of our organizers, Yaira, to give us the vote of thanks. But before Yaira does that, I want us to acknowledge Mahogany Consult for putting this together very nicely. Very nicely. Okay. Yaira.
Hello. I just missed the fact that I was disturbed. Oh, Honorable Richard Nadurisoa, thank you for coming. I've really worried every woman here today. I was calling in, but a big thanks goes to God for making this day a great one. And indeed, we are grateful. And on behalf of the Ghanaian women, and particularly the young women out there, we are grateful to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama for selecting the first female vice president after 68 years. In fact, we can't just sit down and just act. We all need to be on our feet to act. 68 years. For the first time, we have a first female vice president. Thank you all so much. And to our beautiful and adorable mother, the Vice President, I want to personally say a very big thank you for bringing us together on this memorable day. And to our honorable ministers, please take your seat. Sorry. And to our honorable ministers of states, a very big thank you to all of you, members of parliament. We are grateful. I know most of you have to be in your constituencies, but you made a point to be with us here. We are super grateful to all of you. And to our ambassadors, thank you all so much for gracing this occasion. And to our CEOs, I saw most of them, our CEOs of the public institutions, thank you all so very much. And our dedicated Queen Mothers, thank you all so much. Our panelists, we want to say a very big thank you to you and the organizing team. Please, can you give me a wave? Mahogany, yes. Thank you all so much. And Wezo, I think Wezo is streaming live. Our media houses, thank you all so much. You guys were on time. You didn't make me stress, and I'm really grateful for that. Thank you. And to our adorable sponsors, thank you all so much. UNICEF, thank you. We are grateful. And to everybody here, I see our students too also made it. Thank you all so much. And to my dear and adorable host, which is Kempinski, thank you for giving us the space to have this adorable program. This, again, remains just the first time. This is the beginning of it. Next year, we'll all be here, and we will be together to celebrate a greater day. Thank you all so much, and I wish you all International Women's Day.
Thank you so much, Yaira. Thank you. We started with God, we end with God. I'd like to invite Zachariah Enim to close us nicely with a closing prayer.
Thank you. My name is Zekia Trevor Amin. Please, let's pray. Almighty Allah, we thank you for the successful program. We thank you for the life of our Vice President, Her Excellency Professor Nana Jane Opoku Agyeman. We pray you grant us traveling mercies back home. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Inna siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been great, hasn't it? It has been. We leave here ready to reset the agenda for women, ready to accelerate action on women's rights, equity, and empowerment. I think it's only apt that we leave on the national anthem. So please, if you may. Ministers to come up first.
KEMPINSKI Gold Coast City Hotel. On this note, we check out. Still keep your dials on Razor TV. We go all out for you. Thank you.
Ministers, please come up. Let's take a picture with our first female vice president.
Okay.
Please, if we have our members of parliament, could you please join?
What were your thoughts?
I think this is a great initiative. It's been an amazing event from policies to personal stories. They highlighted it all. And as a younger person being here, it has inspired me a lot. And I think the event met all my expectations. And I am hoping that as I am standing here with whatever I've learned, I am going to use it and make sure that it reflects in my day-to-day activities so that I can also hopefully dreamingly also become one of these prominent women that we have here in our country, because seeing a lot of people here who also have the power, who are also voices for people, it's inspiring, and I feel great to be here, and I'm glad that I came here. What about you?
Well, talking on accelerated action, as the theme says it, for me, I've been empowered to go accelerate on my goals, my visions, and my dreams. And as a young lady, I'm living here with one mantra, that my dreams are valid and I can also do it. So yes, it's been the 2025 edition of the International